they're an odd shape. Let's pretend they're, what? Like Legos. Let's say that they're kind of like Legos, right? So, you know, here's the thing about Legos. Whenever you're working with Legos, like we read about in the article, I want you to think about how we can rearrange them, right? Like I can move them around and create new structures and new shapes. Is that right? So how many of you have ever gotten a Lego kit at home that comes with the instructions that tell you exactly where to put each piece? And if you don't put the piece exactly where it goes, what happens? So when I'm done with my structure, it doesn't look like the box, right? Or whatever. If I'm not following those explicit directions in the Lego box. But you know what? When I was a kid, I didn't really have those. They didn't make them like that. When I was a kid, they just had a whole bunch of Legos in a box, and there were no directions. What was I to do? What was I to do if there was no directions in the kit? What do you think I did? I created my own, right? I thought, ooh, what could I build with all of these blocks? And how many different ways could I build it, right? Because the thing is, whenever we write, writers, we can build our writing a lot of different ways. And you guys are on it, like right at the beginning of our unit, you have been thinking about the text that you want to write, right? You've been thinking about the topics that are meaningful to you, the things that you care about, because here's the thing, boys and girls, you are experts at so many things, and you know so many things. And when we know things, we have to like share it with the world. So you're working on how to write. And here's the thing, that Legos that I was telling you about, when I was able to build my text in the same way I built with Legos, my first try at it, I might build my Lego structure and then look at it and be like, it's not exactly what I imagined, and I'll break it apart, tear it back down, and then do what? Start over, right? And if I'm persistent, because writing requires persistence, doesn't it? Sometimes, and you know, the hardest part of our writing process is revision. So we've been working on our writing process all year long, and you have already done this think and plan thing, right? You've already brainstormed your topic and your idea, and some of you have actually begun to write. But here's the thing, revising, kids think that the writing process is linear, that we just do it in order, like you do it like step by step. Wrong, okay? The writing process is very, very recursive. Big fancy college words where it goes back and forth. So here I am in the thinking and planning stage, and I start to map out how my writing is gonna go, and then I go, kind of like my Lego thing. I get a little sketch, and I'm like, I tried that one on, and I didn't love it so much. Let me try on a different one. So the last couple of days, we've been thinking about how we can write our informational books, right? So you pick a topic that you're an expert on, and then you think about how your writing will go section by section. You guys are going to be publishing a piece on our classroom blog, right? You're going to be working on an informational article about something that you are an expert on, and we're going to get it published on the class blog. But before I can get to this publishing stage right here, there's so much work that has to be done, right? Publish is way later. When I'm in this thinking and planning stage, I can go ahead and jump over here and do some revision. So I want to tell you a little bit about how I've done that. I decided early on when I was thinking about my informational writing topic, things that I'm an expert on. A couple years ago, I got super fascinated by these creatures that most people are disgusted by, but because they can survive everything, I absolutely think cockroaches are fascinating. These animals can like survive a nuclear attack. These creatures are going to be around forever. So I read everything I can and I learn about them, and I thought, if I was going to teach somebody something, I read a lot about cockroaches. I know that's a weird thing to read about, but I've decided I want to write my blog article on this thing. But I had to think about, I had to plan it out. I had to think about how is my article on cockroaches going to go, right? How am I going to organize it? What will one section be? What will another section be? And I'm not really writing a whole book, so it's not like chapter by chapter. It's this informational article. It's going to have infographics, and it's going to have subtitles, and it's going to have captions. I have to think about all this stuff, but originally I have to kind of get my ideas together and think about how it's going to go. So we've done some sketching, we've done some talking and diagramming. Here are some planning menus that some of you have already tested out today, and you might try some of those later on Writer's Workshop if you're trying one out. But I want to show you kind of what my original thinking was. We're going to try on a couple of different structures, but very quickly, because we're going to pretend that you have been in Writer's Workshop for a few days, I want you to look at some of these topics here and go ahead and decide yours.
based on your interest and what you care about. I'll give you like 30 seconds because I know usually you would have already had this in your writer's notebook. You would have already done a table of contents. And if you don't want an expert item from here, just an expert on anything. I'm an expert on reading books. I'm an expert on, movie stars. I don't know what you're an expert on. But here are some choices. Makeup, exercise, TCU, having pets, iPhones, Chili's, baseball. Remember, once you kind of have that topic, we're going to drill a little further and do some breakdown. So for example, I have a student in my class who really loves Chili's, the restaurant. His family goes there every week, and he's like an expert on everything Chili's. And so here's his ideas: food and drink menu, the atmosphere, the store locations around the Metroplex, entertainment. He had a whole little section that he was working on where he was going to do the little game thing that you play with at the table. And then the commercials, of course. I want my baby back Chili's, right? So we're going to be thinking about that. I was thinking about my fascination, which I'm all about cockroaches. So when I was thinking about how my text was going to go, I decided one of my bullet points was going to be, as much as I think that they're fascinating, the reason they're so fascinating is because humans have spent decades trying to figure out how to get rid of them. We don't like them in our houses, right? So we have all these attempts at killing these creatures that seem to be impossible to kill. And so I decided I was going to try out boxes and bullets the first time. When I first started my planning map, I was like, I know I want a section on how to get rid of cockroaches. So you guys have already tried this one. We tested this one out a while ago. You've tried out boxes and bullets already this week. And then we also, I was working on trying out, not quite done, but I was going to try out the pros and cons. Like I might have a section on reasons we should kill them, like let's kill the cockroaches and what would be the pros of killing the cockroaches, and then why wouldn't I want to kill them, right? So I'm not quite done there, but I want you to think about how your text is going to go. Yesterday you tried out boxes and bullets. The day before you tested out the pros and cons, and today we're going to try out a new one called cause and effect, right? So these match those text structures. As an informational writer, you need to rehearse and try it out. Most kids when they're writing, their go-to is boxes and bullets, main ideas and details. Because when you first started writing as a first and second grade writer, you went there. Here's my topic, here's some details. Here's my next topic, here's some details. But we're ready to try on some other ones, okay? So I want you to spend about 60 seconds, because you would have already had this in your writer's notebook. This is day 3 or 4 of the unit. But does everybody have a topic, a brainstorm topic idea that they want to write about or talk about? Let's do some writing in the air, okay? You're going to rehearse your topic and maybe some breaking down of those topics really quickly. So if you want to, you can grab your note. Many of you have a notepad in your, I think you all have a journal or notepad or something to write on in there. I want you to go ahead and maybe jot your broken down topic really quickly. Take about 30 seconds to think about your topic and jot down your pieces. Because you would have already had this done and you don't. Okay, here's what I want you to do. I want you to think about one of the sections that you think you want to write about, and I want you to try on this cause and effect one, all right? So what you're going to do is you're going to think, if I'm writing about my cockroaches, I don't want to just do getting rid of them. I want to think about the cause and effect. So what's the human relationship with cockroaches? I know when I leave out food on my counter, and I don't keep there's crumbs everywhere, that's going to cause cockroaches to come out, right? So there's a cause and effect relationship. So I'm going to think about how I want that to go, and maybe I'll try out this strategy and draw some cause and effect boxes. Blank happens because some other things happen. If the problem is this, one solution is this. So you can try out any of these structures, but what I want you to do is write it in the air with a partner really quickly. So you're going to get next to your partner and you're going to try out the cause and effect structure really quick. I know
know that my 10 minutes is up, but go ahead and test that out really fast with a partner.
Good camping. So I guess that. I should go camping, see if I can get that fresh air, get that outdoors time. We're very social together. Break tent, but stay from any form of weather that happens, snow, it's raining, mosquitoes, bugs are kept down. Oh,
Giraffes in America just naturally roaming around, so because of the
I like it.
Okay, I want you to give me a thumbs up if you are surprised at some of the new thinking that you came up with, like when you started thinking about it from a cause and effect lens, you were like, oh yeah, I could write it that way. That's one way the text could go for me if I decided. So today, as I send you off for Writer's Workshop, here's your task. Your job is to try on various organizational structures for each kind of broken down topic. So if I'm doing, let's say I'm doing the Chili's restaurant and I want to talk about the atmosphere, could I do a pro and a con? Could I try out talking about the atmosphere with just boxes and bullets? And then I want you to try it out multiple ways. Kids, sometimes as writers, they get stuck on their first idea. They're like, okay, I think I'm going to organize it this way, and they don't want to revise until they get to their whole draft done. So today your task is to try out your topics in different ways. You can test out any of these organizational patterns, and then if you get really geeked up about one and you're like, oh my gosh, I have it, I know this is the structure I want, write long. Just start writing, flash draft that idea, and get as much as you can on the page today. Because during Writer's Workshop, we want our pencils flying down the pages. Can you guys do that for me today? Okay, so as you go off to start working on your writing, jump right in, and maybe today during Writer's Workshop, you just have a whole bunch of different ways you might get the text to go. Others may write long, but at the end, when we come back to share, I want you to be ready to tell me which text structures you tried out today. Okay, with your topic. Off you go to write wherever you would like.